What is a change order form for construction contracts? So, have you ever wondered what happens after the contract is signed and then you find out that it's going to cost you more money to do the project? Well, there's something that we add to the contract, and that is a change order. And this is going to be ordering the change that we're going to be including in the contract documents. So in this episode, we're going to go through some of the specifics of what the form is that you would be using for a change order. In this episode, we're going to be talking about change order forms. So understanding what a change order is, the different types of change orders, and how we're going to get a change order processed and approved are all going to be important when adding to the scope of work of this contract. So, have you ever wondered how to get more money out of your construction contract? What if you come across something that you didn't know was there, and now all of a sudden it has to be taken care of before you can actually do your work? How do we take care of those types of situations? Well, we do that with what's called a change order. But the construction industry is not very consistent in the way that they use terminology, so I'm going to explain to you the different types of change orders, what a change order is, and how we're going to get paid for that extra work that we've done on our construction contract. Well, it all starts by first understanding what is a change order. Now, it's common in the construction industry that anytime a change occurs that we feel is going to add time or cost to the construction contract, that we're going to call that a change order. But that's not actually what a change order is. The change order form is the executed approval of the change order work that we've done in order to prove and provide evidence that this change to the contract scope is legitimate. So it all starts way back with either the owner issuing a change request where they are requesting the contractor to include additional scope to the work, or it's from the contractor with what's called a proposed change order. And in this case, the contractor is identifying and notifying the owner, construction manager, and architect that they believe that the scope of work that they're being asked to do is above and beyond what the original contract requires. Now, common to the construction industry, you may also see a change request or a proposed change order in a number of different acronyms. So we have other videos that you can review here on our YouTube channel in order to be able to go deeper into the construction terminology and acronyms. But just know and understand that before it can become an approved change order, it first has to go through those two initiation channels. Now, going one step further back, we would like to see that initiation start with something like a request for information or a letter of correspondence, or maybe a topic that came up in the weekly coordination meeting. And so identifying how and why this became an issue and is being considered as additional work to the contract is going to be important when we start lacing together all of the evidence to be able to identify whether or not this is a legitimate change. Is this something that really is above and beyond the contract? Or is this something that the contractor is choosing to see as an extra in order to be able to identify more money for the contract amount? The other thing that we need to ensure when we're looking at the legitimacy of a change order is whether or not the proposed change order or the change request is capturing any costs that might be an overlap in contractual work that is required and the proposed new work that's going to be taking place. So when we're working on something like that, we want to ensure that we're not paying for something twice. And so this will be part of the discovery that needs to happen when we're packaging all of the information and evidence necessary for our approved change order. Some common reasons why we might even see a change order could be because on the owner's side, that once they start seeing something being built or developed, something catches their eye that doesn't feel quite right or isn't going to be as user-friendly as they want it to be, and so they'll ask for it to be improved upon, or they'll see that it's missing altogether and want it added or included into the contract. On the contractor's side, it's usually something that has to do with unforeseen conditions. They didn't know that this situation was going to arise, and now they're asking for money to help cure the resolution or help cure the problem. Another reason that the contractor might bring up a proposed change order is because they have an idea of how to improve on how we move forward with this. So we could end up identifying something that's more effective and more efficient, and they will propose a different change for that. One of the things that we want to recognize is that a change request or a proposed change order do not always have to be adding money or time to the contract. We can have a deductive change order or a deductive time duration, and we can also have a neutral change. Well, why would a neutral change even be necessary, and why would we even bother with that? Because these documents are what we now call a living contract. Everything that changes through the progression of the project has to be updated so that the owner, when they receive all the documents for this project in its turnover, have all the information that they need to be able to maintain this facility, be able to find that color of paint that was changed out, or to be able to identify the model number that was used for a specific piece of equipment. So we want our as-builts to be as current and as accurate as possible. So even something as little or as small as a neutral change needs to be identified and put into this living contract. So often we want to know and understand change orders very well because they are going to be adding time and cost to the end of the original contract scope. So this is going to impact our budget. It has the potential of impacting time of whether or not the owner gets to move in and use their facility when it was originally determined. And so all of these can have implications. The one thing we really need to be careful is knowing and understanding that whatever this change is, we have to look at a bigger picture and make sure that there's not more work downstream that's being impacted or affected. So when we decide that we're going to move forward with this change order, we need to ensure that everything is detailed, that it has clear documentation, that it has added and identified any potential time that might be associated with installing the work, that all of the costs have been captured, but also that we have put key words into this change order that allow us to be able to filter information in the future in case something else comes up downstream and we need to be able to go back and check this past change order to ensure that we're not actually paying for anything twice. So when we're getting ready to approve a change order, we have to look at some of those common pitfalls that happen. And I would say probably one of the biggest ones is paying for something that you already are owed. And this usually comes in the form of labor. So let's use an example. I had a project one time where we were going to go in and change out the doors. It was a simple change out. So we were changing Formica doors for solid wood doors. And in this particular situation, the wood doors were significantly more expensive. So when we got the change order back from the general contractor, it included costs for labor, for the frame, for the door, for the hinges, for the keys, everything involved with that particular project. And that is all warranted. However, they did not provide a credit for the hinges and the keys and the labor and the frames for all of the other doors that were originally specified in the original contract. So technically, we really should have only been paying the difference between the change out. We should have only been paying the difference in labor. So for instance, well, why does it take more time to install a wood door than the Formica door? Because the wood door is heavier, is going to be harder to move around, and is going to be more difficult. So it is going to take more time, and therefore the time that it would take above and beyond is what we're looking for. Another common mistake is that on a lot of projects, they will use cheaper labor, so an apprentice or someone who's not making near as much as a journeyman. But when the change order comes in, the payroll will show that they had all journeymen working on the change order. Now, this can be justified and used with certified payrolls to determine exactly who was working on the change order so that you can ensure that the appropriate hourly rate is being used for the individual who actually performed the work. Having this new awareness and perspective of how you are looking at change orders is going to help you be able to be a great construction manager. When you're able to look at these change orders from this perspective, you're going to have more awareness of the things that have legitimacy and things that really just don't belong in the change order. So remember, the difference between whether or not a change order is legitimate or not has everything to do with the baseline of what the contractor had expected to do at the time of bid in order to be able to produce the deliverable that's been requested by the owner. So if we use that baseline, then we're able to really get a clear understanding of how to properly manage construction change orders. Understanding the different types of change orders and how change orders work, understanding the approval process and what is legit and what's not, are all going to be important in your management of construction change orders. This is going to be an important aspect of you being able to manage your construction project. And if you would like to learn more about how to become the best possible construction manager, then I encourage you to check out the link below in our description. It's where you're going to find Construction Management Essentials. This is a 12-week program that we go through that provides a certification for your construction management skills, where we learn everything you need to know in your first year of construction management. So I would love to be able to guide you through this program and to be your mentor while you learn, while you work.